Hello and welcome to MediaLeaders.com. My name is Josh Oakes, and I'm excited today to present to you 5 tips in marketing automation that'll help you grow your business in 2015. Now, technically, I'm not going to be the one presenting today. I've got my friends at Ontraport here to share with us some of the coolest tips that they have. I have Dan DeAngelis on the video with me right now. Dan, welcome.
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. Like Josh said, I'm Dan DeAngelis, Business Solutions Consultant at Ontraport, which is a software company aimed at providing entrepreneurs like you with online tools to grow your business. I was in the nonprofit world, and I was pretty darn good at fundraising before I came over to Ontraport, so I have a little taste of both nonprofit and for-profit business. What I'm going to go over today is from my experience mainly with the entrepreneurs, hundreds if not thousands that I've worked with here at Ontraport, just kind of some of the recurring themes and the best practices that I've come to know in my time here.
Awesome. Well, let's jump right on into it. What are you going to teach us?
Awesome, Josh. So I have these 5 tips, like I said, starting with tip number 1. Is your funnel as attractive as you think? So this is really going to go a little bit more into taking a real stock of your funnel as it is now, if you even have one, and if you don't, planning for the best possible conversions. Tip number 2 is going to be building strong relationships that last. This seems obvious, but I'm going to get into how important this really is and point out some use cases on how this has been successful for some people and how it's helped engage and help people opt in.
Awesome.
Tip number 3 is to create a high engagement automated system to keep your contacts interested. So this is
going to walk us through all that exactly tactical tips we can use, right?
Exactly. So it's just making sure that everything is fluid and everything's repeatable and scalable in the end, right?
Awesome.
Tip number 4 is to start simple and build out. Guys, I can't tell you how important this one is. I'll elaborate in a few minutes here, but a lot of people want to start with the perfect solution, and it ends up costing time and money. So we'll go into that a little deeper.
Great.
Tip number 5 is how to measure success in your business. So let's say we do the ideal funnel. We've gone through. We're getting conversions. Money's rolling in. But what now? What are those next goals look like, and how do we know that we're really in alignment with those goals?
Well, that's tip number 1. You ready?
Yeah, ready, Josh. So is your funnel as attractive as you think? So starting with your funnel, it is important to take a real stock of what's there now. How are people opting in, and what's the value you're offering to them to opt in? Mm-hmm. Now, there's several things that you can do here to engage people, and that's offer valuable content right up front, right? So making sure that you're offering more than you're asking in return. And another thing is just to kind of run through your own funnel as if you were your own customer, and make sure that your products are in alignment with what your content is. So you don't want to offer your high-ticket item or service right off the bat. You want to build up to it. So you want to start with something small, offer them as much as possible, and then just kind of gradually offer them a little bit more service, faster implementation as you go.
That's awesome.
Okay, so here's my little tagline here. Does your content have charisma? And what I mean by this is it a reflection of you? Is it authentic? Can people relate and connect with it, right? So when you build out a funnel, and that's what you see on the screen here, we call it a sequence, but it's the same thing in my eyes. An automated sequence is really just a funnel. That's going to be making sure that every step, like I said, is in alignment with the previous step. So just constantly pushing, good content out on a reasonable time frame. Also making sure that everything displays on whatever device it's opened on. That's huge, guys. Today, 80% of emails are opened on mobile devices. So checking to make sure that it's not only looking good in Firefox or Chrome, but on an iPad and Android. Mm-hmm. There are several services that I use to check my emails before they go out in the funnel. One of them is called litmus.com, and that gives you the ability to really see what it's going to look like to every end user.
Awesome. All right, let's go on to the next one. Feel free to tell me if I'm not moving fast enough for you, because you got a lot of tips here.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. So, how to attract and capture quality inbound leads. Hosting helpful and insightful blog content with frequently updated articles. So, Marie Forleo, I'll get into, is a great use case of this. just making sure that what you're putting out there is a reflection of who you really are and what you offer.
Mm-hmm.
Lead capture forms with ebooks and free white paper downloads. We can get more technical and go into the types of opt-ins like light box opt-ins or when somebody's watching a video. But for now, just making sure that you're capturing that lead before giving them your valuable business information.
Yeah.
Webinars featuring industry thought leaders addressing relevant topics and/or concerns. So Josh, you probably have a pretty good idea about this right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're doing. We're on number 3 right now.
Awesome. Now moving on to 4, sharing useful industry-specific content on social networks. So make sure that your reach is vast, right? Not just the blog that somebody might get to, although that's very important, but you just got to make sure that there's multiple channels out there for people to find you, because we can't get them into the funnel unless they're finding your site in the first place.
Yeah, so Dan, I got to tell you, everybody that's watching this video right now, you cannot do enough of 1 through 4 here that Dan's showed you, and I didn't even give him these tips, but we definitely are trying to do as much of this as possible. Dan and I and Ontraport and Media Leaders are so aligned here. Hosting a great blog where you help people. You need your lead capture forms near it. I'm sorry to reiterate this, but I cannot go over this enough. You need webinars like this where we're helping you. We want nothing in return. And then we're sharing useful industry-specific content on all of our networks. I love this. I'm a huge fan of exactly what you just taught us. So talk to us about these 2 people.
Yeah, so Cristo and Francesca from Basic Bananas, they started small. They were tired of their day jobs. They were great at what they did, but they wanted to start their own agency. So that's exactly what they did. When they came to Ontraport, they were able to create these funnels that engaged people. Instead of them having to trade their time 1 for 1 all the time, we were able to make this, make this a scalable project. And since then, they have scaled from. They had about 4 to 6 event attendees at the time. Now they're actually broaching about 200 to 300 per event.
I love it.
They've gone almost 10x in their revenue, and they've done that by creating these seamless funnels that they offer more than they ask in return. And then there's this gradual step up to the next event, the next program, the next level of the course. And they've just done a great job in making that really seamless and keeping you engaged the whole time.
That's great. And those of you that can't see this on the small video, it says Blast Off Marketing Workshop, the Clever Bunch, the Genius Bunch, Media for Business, the Legend Lab. This is art, little tiny programs. Okay, talk to us about this slide, Dan.
The results, right? So this is what we all want to see. As far as growth goes, the first one is just a real showstopper, right? From $10,000 a month, which is still pretty good, up to $100,000 a month. All the while, they're not trading any more time. They're still doing what they're doing, just in a one-to-many environment.
Wow, $100,000 a month. I don't know if those of you that are watching this right now, but that's $1.2 million a year. That's a pretty good little business.
Yep, they're happy. He gets to surf.
That's rad. Okay, so they had 500 customers and they went to 1,100.
Yeah, so they had 500 customers initially, and then they went to 1,100. The way they did that is by offering both recurring memberships as well as doing these events where people can show up instead of having to do consultations as they did before. They're able to kind of have a menu of their services that's ready to fulfill at any time.
Got it.
And like I said before, the event attendees, just to wrap up, is awesome, right? I mean, for event attendees, they've always been great at what they did. They had a ton to offer, but being able to step that up to, it says 150, but I believe now they're over 200 event attendees, and they're doing events all through the year. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I do a lot of marketing automation around our conferences and events. It's amazing, and you're, like you said earlier, it's a one-to-many where you can set up, you can streamline your processes, your reminders, once people have registered, tell them all the details, and then it just reminds them how to get there, what to do. It's really great.
That's right.
So walk us through tip number 2, Dan.
Yeah, so building strong relationships. I know this seems overly obvious, but from the get-go, you want to make sure to connect. And I said this in the last tip, but you want to focus on staying in touch, but not too much. There's a fine balance there, right? So weighing out what content is really valuable. And the reason I keep hitting on this is because a lot of people think they're giving away their business, when in fact they're not giving away their business. They're proving their worth, they're proving their value, they're engaging and inspiring people, so that by the time you actually offer, you have an offering or a product to sell, they already know that you know their stuff, that you understand them, that you want to improve their lives and add value to it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So walk us through, what does it mean to split test?
So split testing is a great way to find out what content's working well, right? A lot of people go and they build an awesome looking funnel and they write the content that they like, and it ends up not converting. So before you go and spend a lot of time on content, test simple things. Subject lines, maybe if you have a video link, try a different image, or you can even test an entirely different email. I personally like to keep it simple because then I can zero in on what those measurable stats are and what's really working and converting well. But split testing you can do for postcards, emails, landing pages, text messages, and by doing that you're giving yourself some real stats to monitor.
Okay. And then reusing content?
Yeah, Josh, this is something I noticed with you. You're awesome at, and you offer value then and there, but you also make it available to people on different channels for all time. So being able to give as much content to as many channels as possible is awesome because that ends up giving you, it ends up connecting with the right people at the right time, rather than just having something that you're offering and you hope that a certain niche sees that.
Mm-hmm. How can a guy like me avoid unsubscribes more?
Yeah, so there's a couple tips here. But first of all, split testing to find out what people are liking and engaging in is a good one. Now, another one is, do you offer them an alternative to opting out of everything? Right? This is simple. Give them a couple choices. Opt out of this particular sequence or this email series, or opt out of them all. A lot of people just have an unsubscribe, boom, they're gone, they're out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And then accessing our content.
Yeah, so access to your content. Again, this goes back to really tip number 2 is with reusing content. Make sure that it's accessible, right? Make sure that it's not all just protected content, that there's enough to catch interest right on the home page. There's enough out there in social media to pick up interest.
Mm-hmm. And then channels beyond email.
Yeah, so this is interesting because a lot of people, when you think of a funnel, you think of a product as the end goal to sell, and then a series of emails leading up to that product. But there's also things that we can incorporate, steps, we call them steps in Ontraport. It could be postcards, text messages, tasks to give a new lead a phone call. And these are great ways. If you just focus on mapping out your own processes, don't worry about any systems, but just worry about your own processes and how they run. Well, we can find out how to send, a postcard to engaged leads or to customers who have bought and we want to re-engage.
Yeah, we're actually doing this on our new kids program that we launched. We're sending a handwritten flyer, a note card, and business card to schools nationwide, or actually in the certain cities. Mm-hmm. Then we're following up with a phone call, and then we're following up with an email system with free content. So I love the channels beyond email. We call it multiple touch points because then they can't get you out of their mind. Mm-hmm. So I think that's great. Walk us through, how is Marie doing this?
Yeah, Marie is just crushing it. And if you guys don't already know, check her out, marieforleo.com. Just fantastic content marketer. She really connects with her audience and she researches and understands them. She also is very vulnerable and open about her own experience, right? Uh-huh. One of her quotes is, "Do you let criticism stop you? How to insult-proof your ego?" Right? Yeah. That's something I'm pretty sure everybody can connect with. Here we go. You see it right here on this slide. Or what should I do with my life? Wait, don't answer that. These are just, when you see that, you don't feel like you're being sold anything. You go, oh, somebody else feels that way too, right? So this is just the perfect use case for building strong relationships that last. Marie has quite the tribe behind her.
That's really great. And do you let criticism stop you? How to insult-proof your ego? This is really cool. It's helpful content. She's reaching out to help 1 million people rather than just make $1 million. And eventually people opt in like crazy to her list, I'm sure. So walk us through tip number 3.
Yeah, so tip number 3, create a high engagement automated system to keep your contacts interested. So split testing is the first thing that comes to mind here, but I'll dive into a few other things. You see my little tagline here, automation saves you time and is your best employee.
Yeah.
So I noticed with me, I'm an employee, so I don't run a business like you guys, but I am part of a business. And what I can tell you is I have tasks that are reoccurring and come up every day. Mm-hmm. Before, I used to think that I had to rely on myself and that it was uncontrollable. I just had to do what was going to come in, right? But then I realized that I could foresee what types of tasks are going to happen again and again and again. And then I could figure out how to incorporate my internal workflow into my marketing funnel. So I never have to remember where somebody is in their lead or client life cycle. I can simply show up and do what I need to do, and I'm never going to drop the ball. So automation is just a great framework to incorporate your internal workflow, your marketing efforts, and keep everybody engaged and in touch.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I always tell people I love that an automation system. It really is a great employee, but also it never shows up late, and it never gets sick because it just does what it's supposed to do, which you hit it on the head.
That's
All
right.
right, so walk us through these next asterisks.
Yeah, so first we have, we can learn and optimize from what we test in an automated system, and that feedback equates to consistently higher conversions. So, you know, I've hit on a couple things. I've yet to go into lead scoring, which I'll broach on, but just watching what we're doing, what is our automated system telling us, and how can we turn that little revenue dial up a couple notches every time we go to, you know, kind of stare back into our sequence, stare back into our marketing efforts.
Yeah.
Next one is, once you've discovered the right content and created the right system, you'll not only have excellent experiences, but they'll be repeatable and dependable. Now this is awesome. If you have a team or if you're a solopreneur, either way, if you're sick or an employee doesn't come in or there's turnover, there's a repeatable, scalable system in place, right, that you can depend on.
Yep. Yeah, it's very, very wise. Process mapping. This is cool.
Yeah, process mapping is huge. You know, I'm trying to take my years of experience here and come up with the top 5 general tips, and these certainly are those. But we can really find out specific pain points in your business by kind of running through on a one-to-one basis and looking, what do you do now? What could be automated? What would be a smoother process for doing that? So, you know, I try to fit a process map on here, Josh, but you know how those things go. Can't really fit it on one slide. So I figured I'd just offer a 45-minute mapping strategy call. If you're interested and want to just kind of drill down into your business and look for better ways to automate the processes.
That's awesome. That's a good offer. And those of you that are watching this video, you can click the link below the video to learn more about that and have Dan or one of Dan's team members set up that 45-minute process map. It is one of the coolest things you've ever done when somebody, as an outsider, gets to know your business and says, how do you find customers? Where are your 3 main leads areas? How do you follow up with them? What are they buying? What's your product, your service? How can you upsell them? How can you stay in touch? It's the coolest thing I've ever done. I get a little pumped up about it. Okay, walk us through Brandy and Vinka.
Yeah, right on, Josh. So Brandy and Vinka are awesome. They were both entrepreneurs before they met each other, and it happened to coincide with them finding Ontraport. So they met each other, they created a partnership, and they're both authors. And once they came into Ontraport, they created a unified platform for both of their businesses and kind of merged it into one. Now, what I want to talk about here as far as creating a great automated system that's repeatable is they were awesome with segmentation. They didn't just want a machine gun fire market or, you know, one-size-fits-all marketing campaigns. They wanted to really know who they were talking to specifically. Yeah. And they wanted to get that specific content into the right hands. So they did a variety of things. They would capture more fields than a normal person would, but they would do it in a form that followed their initial opt-in. So they opt in, path of least resistance, you know, email, opt-in, and name, and then later on they're asked to take a quick survey. Now that we're getting that information, we can add that data and those fields to also what they've done. Have they visited the services page 3 times or more? Yeah. Are they opening emails or engaging? And so because of that, they were able to get the right content at the right time, especially in time for launches, to the right people.
That's great. That's really cool. I love capturing data. Okay, here's their before and after.
Yep, so here we go. So like I said, they met and they were both 2 separate ventures, joined together and brought everything into Ontraport, into one system. They had no segmented lead base. So leads just got what they got, and you crossed your fingers and checked the account, right?
Yeah.
Now they have this highly segmented marketing plan, and they're able to really talk to the people in a different way based on who they are, how they're engaging.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've grown their list substantially, 4x growth here from 3,000 email list up to 14K email list. So this is a huge growth, right? And they're definitely loving that. Mm-hmm. Conversions, they've gone from no tracking or conversion rates all the way up to 50% conversion rate. So Josh, have you seen a 50% conversion rate before?
No, no, that's huge. That means one in every two people that visits ends up converting into either a credit card or an opt-in form. That's huge.
It's huge, right? It's huge. So, and the last thing is just delivery. This one's basic, but it's essential, right? Making sure there's an automated system to deliver your product and fulfill or your services
Yeah.
at any hour of the day, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, and I suppose part of that 50% conversion rate, those of you that are watching this video, is because they're segmenting. Highly segmented marketing is delivering the right offer in front of the right person at the right time, and that's when your conversion rate goes way up, and life is a lot easier. Okay, walk us through tip number 4.
Yeah, so Josh, we spoke a little bit about this, and we both are passionate on starting simple and building out.
Yeah.
Manually test the best processes first. Then once perfected, automate it, right? So for me, it's going back to the recurring task thing, but it's the same way in marketing. Test different subject lines manually. Test small sample groups.
Yeah.
And then once you start to see success and you can actually get a good test group, then go ahead and put that into an automated build and go from there.
Yeah, and really, I mean, because I live in startup land here in Los Angeles, in Silicon Beach, they're always talking about it's an iterative process, and you need a minimum viable product. Your minimum viable product really is you just emailing customers, finding out what they respond best to, what their FAQs are, and then once you have that perfected, and it takes you a lot of time to understand that, weeks and months, then you put it into a system like Ontraport so that it becomes your employee to do it for you. Am I right?
That's I couldn't have said it better myself. That's absolutely right. So again, your minimum viable product is just starting to kind of fire and then aim later. Just get it out there and then check.
And then taking notes. Minimum viable product is really about that. And I think that's what you're getting with here. You told me before we started this earlier, you said people see a lot of cool things in the Ontraport system and they want to turn everything on at once, but what you're telling them here is start with your business and keep it simple, and you can fill it in later.
That's right, exactly. And to feed on top of that, don't lose sight of why, right? You came to look for an automation system for a reason, because you had a hunch that something could be better, that revenue could be turned up. So what is that area? Are you spending too much time on calling leads that aren't qualified? Are you fulfilling your own products or doing one-to-one consultations when you could be doing one-to-many? So focusing on what brings you to look at a platform like this is essential, because that's iteration number 1, and then you always build on top of that.
Yeah, so true. Okay, walk us through this entrepreneur.
Liesl is awesome. She is a one-woman show. So Liesl's a solopreneur coach, and she started doing one-to-one consultations, but brick and mortar. She needed a physical location to meet, and so she managed most of her clients from email and spreadsheets, and she was growing pretty good on her own with that model. And then she realized that there was a better way to do it, so she came to Ontraport, and we had a conversation. And we talked about how much better it could be if it was a one-to-many situation, and if people could access it from anywhere. Reusing content again here. So she would take her consultations and her events, and she'd put it back out there as an evergreen product. She's also doing Skype consultations. So Liesl is a perfect example of keeping it simple. The reason that she came was she was trading too much time for money, and she wanted to go one-to-many. So she came, accomplished that, and she has grown significantly here.
Yeah, I heard some, and I think Liesl is a believer in this. I hear a lot of people say, and this is my favorite saying, is build it once, sell it twice. And that what you're saying here is keeping it simple, like we're going to do with this video. Those of you that are learning live on the video, you can watch it live, which is great, and we're also going to repurpose this and share it with other people to help them. Build it once, share it, or sell it twice. Tip number 5, walk us through how to measure marketing performance.
Yeah, guys, so, I have experienced this in our business, right? You got to make sure that your goals are in alignment with what you're doing today. It's important to kind of have measurable stats along the way before you get to the end goal and realize that you're actually way off in left field. So you build this awesome system, you split test, you lead score, you do all these neat fancy things, but how do you know that it's worth its weight in gold? How do you know that it's actually working? So we want to create a window of insight into the funnel to be able to go down and analyze each step, each subject line. It only takes this, but it gives you the insight into what's working and what needs serious improvement.
And that leads us into this dashboard here where you can see the clicks. Now we have 0 from which isn't the best. It's probably like a new setup. The click rate, unsubscribes, and then you can start to see sales, whether it's today, yesterday, this week. You can see if it's up or down, and then also sales numbers, purchases, and dollars, which is I love.
Yep. Yeah, that's great, Josh. And pointing out the 0, the 0 I'm most proud of here is the unsubscribes. Nobody has unsubscribed because nobody's opted in. This is definitely my demo account. So what I wanted to highlight here, though, is that Ontraport is fantastic at reporting. It's always going to give you these basic stats that you see here: unsubscribes, click rate, sales over time, month to date. Those are awesome. But it's also completely customizable. So if you want to see things that are pertinent to your marketing efforts, you can actually customize these metrics. An example, Josh, would be if we were running a campaign together and we wanted to see, hey, what's the amount of time on average between somebody opting into the home page and purchasing any product? You know, these are measurable stats that you can see and each business owner can see.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Ontraport seems like it's making it really easy for everybody to do that. How can we learn more about Ontraport, and what does this cost?
Yeah, so Ontraport is $297 a month. There are no startup costs and no contracts. We offer a 90-day money-back guarantee, so we only want you with us if it's really working. And you know, we will qualify you right up front to make sure it's a good fit for you. But what the $297 includes is 25,000 contacts, 100,000 email sends per month, and 2 user seats. Just to clarify with the user seats, guys, a lot of companies see a user as a login. We allow for concurrent logins. So if you wanted to have a sales team of 4 people logging into the sales user, you can do that. You can also use users for separate ventures entirely.
Yeah, so 25,000 contacts, 100,000. That's 4 emails a month you can essentially send, which once a week is a lot of emails to send to people. So yeah, you're giving people the flexibility there. And those of you that are watching this video, if you click the link below, we're going to be able to give you basically some extra time. And what is that extra time? Why would people want to sign up through Media Leaders to learn more about Ontraport?
Yeah, that's great, Josh. Thanks for asking. So if you sign up through Media Leaders, we've done a few special things here. First of all, we're going to offer 2 hours of onboarding with our client success team. These guys are builders. They're our most advanced users. So they work with business owners every day to convert what your processes are or your blueprint into a system build. So they're very, very fast as long as you know what you want to do, and I can work with you on that. The next thing is concierge services. So if you're just not sure or your technical aptitude isn't quite up there, we're happy to do it for you at a very reasonable rate. So concierge service is like a done-for-you type of service here.
That's awesome.
Also, you will get an invite to our private Facebook user community. Now, this is awesome, guys, because this is unbiased. These are real users, power users, newbies, the whole spectrum. And so you could ask a question or say, hey, has anybody used Ontraport in this way? Or how could you integrate it with this system? And you'll get real-world feedback from people who have done it all.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then you've got a live customer support team that we can dial into.
This is the best thing here, and I mean it. Our customer support is just top-notch. They're available chat, email, or phone 7 days a week for the lifetime of your account. It'll be included as long as you sign up through MediaLeaders.com. And our support team is just fantastic. They're all rated on responsiveness, so getting you the answers you need as quick as possible is the name of the game.
Awesome. And those of you that are watching the video, you can click anywhere on the screen right now, and it'll take you over to how you can sign up to get this 2 hours of free onboarding, which with other companies, and God bless them, there's a lot, there's other companies out there, but they charge thousands and thousands of dollars for the onboarding. And we're offering this to you here today, thanks to Ontraport. It's really nice of them to give the opportunity to offer these 4 ideas. So this is great. Talk to us about what does that support look like?
Yeah, it looks like these fine people right here. They're all, we're all kind of a family and friends here, and we're very close with the different departments. So support is awesome. You have, like I said, chat, email, or phone, and they make games out of being responsive and getting rated the highest. So there's actually some competition there to help you, and we just love working with our clients as well.
That's great. Hey, I want to really thank you, Dan, for being on this video and really teaching us the 5 tips that we can use to blow up our business in 2015 using marketing automation.
Thanks so much for having me, Josh. I really appreciate it.
And those of you that are watching, you can click the links below to learn more, and you can find out more about how Ontraport is going to become your best employee. It does not show up late. You don't have to pay taxes on it. It is something that you can depend on that will help to save you time and hopefully make your business a lot better in 2015. Thanks everybody for watching. You can learn more at MediaLeaders.com. Look forward to seeing you all soon.